Been so long since we donned our boy crazy caps, but I'm happy to be here with you guys. I'm happy to do it again.
Don we now our gayest apparel because we are here in the Boy Crazy Studios, of course, brought to you by the fine folks at Celsius, who are the only people.
Thank you for keeping us lubricated. Thank you for keeping us energized as we delve into hunks of
the Celsius Studios of Boy Crazy Studio B.
Celsius Studios in Burbank, California.
Celsius Studios.
Bringing you another episode of Boy Crazy. And we have said it before, gonna say it again, probably a bit redundant, but this is the podcast we wish we could do. But we can't.
Well, it is the podcast we also do, but yes,
but
more
it's
regularly.
Too dangerous.
You know,
it's too dangerous. That's
we're having
why.
fun and we're being glib, but I think it's to hide something. I think we're kind of overcompensating from a profound sadness and a sense of loss because the world lost a hunk recently.
That's
an apex hunk.
And that's the thing. And we hear whenever somebody who is probably is definitely close to being on the Mount Hunkmore, I would say
definitely
April Fools. I thought it was an April Fool's
definitely
joke. I thought it was an April Fool's joke, but it was not.
I do want to say Boy Crazy has always been a safe space to mourn. Boy Crazy has always been a safe space to gather and reflect.
Yes, it is.
It's also a safe space to abandon a baby. If you can't find a firehouse or something, you can also bring a baby to the Celsius.
We'll find
Celsius Studios.
Bring it to the Celsius Studios in Burbank, California.
Because we know, I know off the top of my head where 4 fire stations are around the Celsius Studio. I can picture 4 right now, and you know why? Because I know where every hunk in the area is.
Yes. Yeah. Well, you don't even care about safety. It's not a safety thing. You're tracking all the hunks.
I'm tracking all the hunks. And a lot of them work at the fire station, my man.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. But
sometimes I'll
getting
drop
back
off a baby just to get a gander at the hunks on display. And then
sometimes I'll light a fire out there in Burbank.
The baby's fine. I'll take it back.
Oh, you'll light a fire at them just to get the hunks to show up?
Yeah, it's a dangerous area to be doing that, but I don't care. I'm about the hunks.
Well, let's get back to
catcalling.
Eulogizing.
Of course, we're talking about Val
eulogizing
Kilmer. I don't believe
Val Kilmer. We lost on April 1st, and an apex hunk.
The Kilm dog, my little Val pal.
I can see Val Kilmer on Mount Hunkmore. I can see it.
I don't think anybody called him Kilm dog.
If you knew him like I knew him, he asked to be called Kilm dog, and I just don't shit on me when
earlier
I'm
Adam said Kilm dog Valianaire, and
I'm really firing on all cylinders today, guys.
I think that this was a big loss for the hunk appreciation community. This was a specimen.
This is the guy who upgraded any movie he was in. Like, oh shit! Well, there's at least one hunk in it. I guess I'll go see it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I guess I'll go see
it. Yeah, and the impact of his loss on the hunk research community, being that he was a specimen we've all studied.
Yeah.
For so long, because the people in our field, there are a few constants. They're control elements. You know, when you go, is he a hunk? You look back and you go, does he have the Val Kilmer quality?
Absolutely. He was almost like a teachable moment to people, to young hunk appraisers. We'd be like, well, okay, here's one you can learn from. Put this in your database and let him influence every other appraisal you make.
When you're doing your first, freshman year hunk class, hunk 101, when you start, you put up a photo of Val Kilmer and you say, why? why is he a hunk? And you let them talk about it. And they're wrong, but you let them find it.
You let them find it. You know, it's so funny.
You let them find it.
I delight in going back to Burbank Community College and guest lecturing Hunk 101. And people lose their mind when I walk in there. But I like to see who are the new up and coming people in the field. You know what I mean?
Oh, there's that kid, Kenny, that is currently, I think he's a senior right now. And this kid's ideas on hunk and hunkitude, hopefully we could get him at some point.
The future of the field is strong, but we did have a big loss. And I think it's up to us, the experts in the field, to sort of determine what are those roles that we can use to help remember Val Kilmer
and
to the next generation of hunk appraisers.
I think that, now that his time that he shared with us has ended, now we can move on to the dissection phase of our relationship.
We're right now broadcasting this at Burbank Community College, Burbank CC right now. The students there are watching it. They're watching a couple of tenured hunk fellows dissect. And we're going to look at this, and this is how it's done.
We will crown the hunkiest Val Kilmer role. This will be the role that the quintessential, if you were to meet, let's say, an alien, someone who's never heard of Val Kilmer, and they're like, well, what role would I want to see him at his hunkiest in? We will answer that at the end of this episode.
I don't think if light can touch it, Val did.
Yeah.
And that's I've said that before. If light can touch it. You have said
that before.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So this is going to be a tough one.
It's going to be very
Picking
tough.
It's going to
be very, very tough.
He became a chameleon of a hunk. He was a hunk who could change skin and move and become something different while still having that je ne sais quoi.
Well, and like a chameleon, a sort of atypical face. It's not the most traditional. It's symmetrical. That's huge. So that's already a great step forward. But it is sort of interesting. It's not just like, oh my God, hit me over the head with your Chris Hemsworth hunky face. There was an interesting look to Val Kilmer that
but you don't get a Hemsworth
just
face
barreled through the hunky.
The Kilmer Foundation. They built the Hemsworth on the Kilmer chassis, my friend. Okay.
Exactly.
Got it.
Exactly. And it wasn't overly aggressive hunk that thrusts you back into ugly, like, say, a Patrick Warburton. When you have a guy like that who's just too hunky, then now he's unhunky and he's ugly and he's an apex uggo. And you don't find that. Val rode that line so well. And
might I even propose there was this underlying femininity that really helped push him over the edge.
And you got every
in that
There's
word.
this underlying femininity.
That is a word full of
which I think
bumps.
Patrick Swayze has as well. That really helps us embrace both sides of sexuality.
Swayze wasn't afraid to pull from the pelvic area. He wasn't afraid to hinge at the hips.
Whereas Kilmer was lips forward.
Exactly.
Kilmer, great pouty lips, permanent pouty lips. Yeah.
And that's where are you pulling your trailer from? Where do I hitch onto you? And with Swayze
and Val Pal's pulling that trailer with his lips.
Swayze is pelvic.
Lips or hips. You got to pull the trailer somehow.
Lips or hips, hunks, pick a side.
So today we're going to be looking through and each picking our favorite.
We're going to bring
what we
our
think are his hunkiest
from
roles
the tree, and we'll examine them, and one role will rise above them all. So we'll do 2 or 3.
We'll press our thumbs into them. We'll see how ripe they are.
2 or 3. We could.
Andrew, I kind of want you to lead, even though we often belittle you on this podcast. I know you're feeling this loss maybe the hardest.
I think.
And so I do want you to go first, because I know this guy was pivotal to you and your perception of
Thank
hunks.
you. And
I
I think you're right. And so right off the gate, this might not be on y'all's list, but I beg you to consider it. This Val Kilmer role, Mad Mardigan in Willow. Maybe you remember the movie Willow. It was kind of boring, and then he comes across a hunk in a cage, Mad Mardigan, and all of a sudden, the movie gets 100 times better. The movie is so much better because of Val Kilmer's hunk. He's kind of like a Han Solo in a fantasy world, kind of. He's got long hair. He's got long, like dark brown hair, which you don't see on.
What's his name?
Kiln Dog.
What's his name again?
His name is Mad Mardigan. And he's sort of a. Is he a knight?
He's like a disgraced like swordsman. He's like a sellsword.
Yes, I see what you're doing here.
And so rarely do I agree with Andrew on this podcast, because I do believe him to be pop culture blind. I think he is feeling around in the dark most times.
I have a cane. Thank you. I don't just grope around blindly.
Well, the cane, you're hitting everybody's ankles, and we're all pissed about it because I'm not entirely sure you need it. But I will say, Andrew, I agree with you on this one. This is an interesting first pick. I agree. I liked him. There was a Last of the Mohicans type quality. I would say this was his Last of the Mohicans. This was his primitive sort of role. This was him getting in touch with something a little more medieval inside him, and I loved the long hair. I would love to twirl my index finger in that a little bit, or maybe just stroke the sides of it. I bet it looked soft. Well, it's not sexual.
Students today, Ben, and you're treading on.
I understand.
We're live streaming. We're not in front of them per se.
No, we are live streaming, and I think they all know that this is not sexual.
Go fighting oranges. Go fighting oranges.
The Burbank CC fighting oranges.
Yeah.
Okay. So I will say I like this pick, Andrew. I think it's a great one. I think he comes across as heroic and as valiant. I don't know that it would be my top pick.
He upgrades the movie.
I'm just going to say that.
It's one of my three. Adam, did you ever see the movie Willow?
I did see the movie Willow, and there's no denying he's hunky, and certainly passes the home invasion test in this iteration.
Yes. Once again, Adam, for our newest listeners, what is the home invasion test?
If you're attacked, if someone comes into your home, you're sleeping in the dead of night, and you need protection, will this hunk get you there? Will this hunk defend you? And
will they go downstairs
now? A lot of people
and save you. This is a patented test that Professor Caden Holland came up with, and you can apply this to any hunk, and it's so useful to immediately delineate, like, no, this is just another pretty face. No, this passes the ACH.
This passes the test, and certainly he does. But and I know, Andrew, you're a big fantasy fan, and you like sci-fi a lot. For me, that distances me from this hunk because it's in a weird realm that is not actual. How do I get close to this guy? I feel far away from
most of my waking life in that realm, so I guess we're just on different sides of the tracks.
And I see both of your sides on this one, Andrew. I'm not looking at the world. I'm cutting him out. I'm leaving a little line around him like he's photoshopped out. I'm putting him on my desk right here. I'm setting him down. I'm just looking at his physical qualities. I like it. But if I put the surroundings around it, I'm with Adam.
See, Ben, you've always been very hard science, and I respect that about you. But I bring a certain philosophy to this. Yep. And so I really need to know, like, what context am I appreciating this hunk in? And if I'm on some Willow planet or whatever the fuck, I'm not. Come on. I can't get down like this.
Yeah, no, I understand it. I'm not going to argue with you on that one. I think.
Jesus, Adam.
Well, where's the world of Willow? Where does it take place?
Know.
What's the setting? Ancient Europe? What's the setting of Willow?
I don't think that they even say it in the fucking movie. They don't know.
Okay.
Exactly. So how can I imagine myself beside this hunk when I can't even picture? I don't even know where this world is.
Adam, well then, what's your first choice? What do you got? What's your first choice?
To us here?
I think I'm going to go with you'd think I'd be tempted to go this one. I'm not, though. I'm going The Doors. Jim Morrison.
Ooh, okay.
I've never seen this movie.
Oh,
you've never seen Oliver Stone's The Doors?
I hate The Doors. And I hate
I don't like The Doors either. I don't like The Doors either.
You didn't like The Doors?
I think Jim Morrison is like frat bro poetry. It's just not
I agree
great.
with that. I think
I like some of their songs, but Val Kilmer is so good as Jim Morrison.
He's undeniably a hunk.
My God, he's a heart.
It does make me more interested in watching the movie when I'm,
I wouldn't watch it because I think it's going to ruin your impression of him as a hunk, because you're gonna trail into, again, not liking Jim Morrison because he was an insufferable asshole. But I agree. Once again, taking my little X-Acto knife, cutting him out of the environment, setting him on my desk beside his character in Willow. Man, that is another quality. I never thought I'd say this. What is happening to me?
It's crazy.
You know what I mean?
Well,
it's the
when you're
scientist in
dealing
me.
with a hunk of this caliber, it's much easier to agree. Because one thing, when we all walked through the store,
it's hard to find role.
We knew we were going to be at least discussing quality. We had quality.
It's hard to find roles where he's a real uggo. That's what it is.
And when you
saying.
see the movie poster for the doors, it kind of has his face like in relief. You can see these are Mount Hunkmore features. You can go ahead.
Now I have
go ahead.
I have seen the doors quite a few times. It was one of the few cassette tapes that we had in our entertainment center, our VHS cassette tapes,
console, or what?
And there were quite a few scenes with tatties in them. There were a lot of tatties in that movie. Yeah. So teenage Ben found the movie to be quite entertaining.
It was your National Geographic. We get it.
Was it Meg Ryan? Was she the love interest in that?
Well, there were tatties all throughout. At one point, he does a bloodletting ceremony with a woman in it.
No, I don't think it's topless Meg Ryan, but she's in it. She's his main squeeze. And she gives him a BJ in the recording booth while he's singing. It's pretty powerful.
Yeah, come on, now touch me. He really got into the role. I will even say that I liked bloated alcoholic Jim Morrison at the end of the movie where he had that big old belly. I even thought that was kind of attractive.
Sexy too. Listen, Jim Morrison is a heartthrob. He's an icon. He's a sex symbol. And Val Kilmer as Jim Morrison is way sexier.
Oozing.
Way sexier. So he topped Jim Morrison with this.
Yeah, did the source material.
100%.
All right. Amazing.
Guys, I'm going to go my first pick, and I'm going to go right at this. I'm just going to
before you get into it. There is a fly in my office, so I might be distracted, but I'm going to do my best to listen to you.
This is a great stopping point. If you're listening to this and you're not on our Patreon,
first pick.
You're going to have to join our Patreon to hear the rest of this episode because
you can do it. There's several different levels.
We're going to get into it,
and this is why you do it. You get the fourth act. You get boy crazies. You get all kinds of extra content. You want to hear how this episode ends.
And to the students at BCC. You also need to sign up for the Patreon to see this lecture further. We will not be live streaming it unless you sign up, which will give you access to the rest of this lecture.
So we hope you enjoyed this little teaser, and we'll be back next week with a regular episode of Advice Fight.
Where does the